Welcome to the Big Picture Manatee, where our mission provides a nonpartisan space to listen, learn, inform, educate, and engage with the public about issues surrounding Manatee County. I'm Sherry Corrier, bringing about 32 years of experience in local government at the top administrative level, and I'm here with my two colleagues.
And welcome, everyone. My name is Reggie Bellamy. Excited to be here. I'm a former county commissioner of District 2, proud veteran of the United States Army, and a graduate of Bethune-Cookman University. Glad to be here.
Hey, everybody. I'm Misty Servia. I'm also a former county commissioner, served with Reggie for 4 years. I'm an urban planner who's been practicing both in the public and the private sector in this region, I want to say for about 34 years now, a long time.
Watching today, the views that are expressed here on the show are not reflective of the Big Picture Manatee as a whole. They're our own. And we have a special guest today we're very excited about. We'd like to welcome the former Manatee County Administrator, Lee Washington. Lee, thank you so much for being here. And can you provide a little bit more of your background beyond what we're going to talk about today, which is your work as the county administrator?
Good afternoon, all. As Sherry said, my name is Lee Washington. I'm very happy to be with you this afternoon. I'm a Florida native, born and raised in Punta Gorda, Florida. I served 11 years honorably in the United States Marine Corps. After discharge, I came back and became a mortgage banker here in the area. And in 2009, I became a county veteran service counselor for Manatee County government. Anyone who knows my background, they understand that I'm all about the community. I will always do what's best for the community. So I always look for things that will keep me engaged what's going on in this community that I call home. I'm a proud father of 2 and a grandfather of 3 kids. And again, I'm just happy to be here with you this afternoon.
That sounds very, very impressive. And again, I'm always looking at you and telling you thank you for your service and all the things that you've done. But I guess just came up with something that came to my mind. Thank you for your service after your service, because you have continued to impact our community after serving our country in the United States Marine Corps, and to come back to Manatee County and be a positive contributor to our society and make a difference. My hat go off to you, and all thanks to the things that you do. But for the reason why we're here is, again, thank you for being the former county administrator. But we just want to dive right in, if it's okay with my colleagues, and tell us about that process as far as you becoming a county administrator. How did it feel? What were some of your thoughts, transitioning to a county administrator?
Well, I will say, obviously, it was a surprise. I did not see that happening the way that it did. And taking on the role, I mean, it was, when you look at the county administrator, when you see him at the Board of County Commissioner meetings, that job is a lot harder than what it seems on TV. There's a lot to learn in a very short period of time to learn it, because you have to hit the ground running. Fortunate for me, I had great mentors coming into Manatee County government back in 2009, one of which is on this call with us this afternoon, and I truly appreciate her. But I will say, being in community and veteran services for the time period from when I started at Manatee County government through becoming the director, I just listened. And I think that the transition as a county administrator is one that you have to be able to humble yourself, to understand you may not be the smartest person in the room. You have some very smart individuals working for you, and you have to find ways to motivate those individuals and get the best out of them.
Yeah, that's great. Haley, I'm so happy to see you on this show. I worked for Manatee County for almost 18 years before I became a county commissioner. And I always had the pleasure of just interacting with you alongside certain little things, but I saw you in the elevator a lot. And you were always just such an upstanding guy who got stuff done. When I was a county commissioner and I would have veterans come to me, you would tell me, walk them down here. Let's help them out. And you did every single time. So I wanted to ask you, though, about your time as county administrator. And I've watched many county administrators take this leadership role. And I just wondered your opinion, like, how much should the Board of County Commissioners be involved in the same sort of work that the county administrator is doing? Or to rephrase it, your job as county administrator is to oversee the operations day to day of over 2,000 employees. Do you feel that it's best if the county commission is telling you, you know, day to day, hey, you should do this, you should do that, this department needs to be downsized, whatever the issues are? Or do you feel it's really your position or the county administrator's position to do all of those things and then seek input on policy from the board? And I'm looking for advice for the next guy, whoever it might be.
Well, I will tell you that I will share with you my same insight that I had as a manager and as a director of CVS, is that we were all given job descriptions. And I think that through the interview process, the background checks and so forth, to include the onboarding, we have to give those employees the opportunity to work with inside that job description and get out of their way. And it shouldn't be any different for the county administrator, which is why you have a Florida statute, which actually outlines the powers and duties of the county administrator. Working for the Board of County Commissioners, the county administrator is going to have 7 bosses. And there's no way that you're going to make all 7 happy every given day. You can't make a move on all of their initiatives without ruffling the feathers of another. So there's a balancing game there. So I don't think it would be a good idea for the county administrator to be stuck in a position to where they're taking direct direction from the board 7 times over, trying to accomplish a goal that's best for the community and expect to be successful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brings
So if
back.
I may, but I'm sure it does. So if I may, you kind of brought up earlier about the difficulty of the job. Can you just elaborate a little bit on some of the the high points as far as maybe 2 or 3 things that's complicated as far as being a county administrator in Manatee County?
Well, I would say it's all complicated. You're dealing with over 2,000 employees and they all have their own personality. But if I had any advice for the oncoming county administrator, whoever that may be, man or woman, I would say put on your thick skin and drink a lot of milk. You have to have a backbone. This role, as you know, will require them to make hard decisions daily. And they'll be challenged when it comes to administrative philosophy, project timeliness, ethics, and even times of their integrity. Become intimately familiar with Florida Statute 125.74, which I said earlier. It outlines the powers and duties of the county administrator. You'll have 7 bosses, and although you may work well and easier with some than others, you have to steer clear of carrying the water for those select commissioners and being mindful that your role is just as important, if not so much, if not more than the board when it comes to those approved directions. The new county administration, in my opinion, will need to be open-minded and willing to learn, not only what they don't know about Manatee County government, but what they may have as perceptions of the overall role. As the chief executive of county operations, there's a balance of overall county operations and how each department functions related to accomplishing those common tasks. I would even add that there must be a time built into their schedule to allow for visits to work sites and get to know the staff clearly within the first 180 days. The county has seen entirely too much change in the last 2.5 years, so it's critical that they build this trust in that office again and the commitment to the vision. That's that true buy-in. And if nothing else, keep the leadership team meetings in place, requiring them to be focused around staff and emphasize the great work that's being done every single day, and highlight the new initiatives and invite those hard questions. For instance, how to convey those initiatives to subordinate staff.
So you outlined what you do from a county administrator standpoint with trying to keep the staff motivated, and knowing that that was, you knew some of these folks, but how did it feel to start being contacted by other folks in the community? Let's say other business people or other organizations that may not have always been people in touch with you. I mean, how did that feel as a county administrator? And I think people don't understand, just the sheer volume of the number of people that reach out to you on a daily basis.
Well, I was very fortunate. I'm working in veteran services. I received calls from people around the nation related to veterans benefits, and becoming the director of CVS, you're always going to have individuals within the community that have questions that you may not have received and veteran services. It's more far-reaching, if you will, county-wide. But for the county administrator, it was important for me to remember to stay focused on what was important and humble myself to just sit and listen, not try to overspeak anyone, not try to bolster my own resume, but just truly listen to what was going on, what was being said by the individual I was speaking with, or the meeting I may have been in, and trying to figure out what their motivations may have been, if any, because there may be information that they can add tidbits here and there that staff may not be aware of, or the individual who is championing this particular initiative is holding back.
So I have a question, just understanding, some of the thoughts of the current climate in the county. What recommendations to motivate staff would you bring forward to make sure, the staff are aware with all the transitions that's going on? I'm sure morale may be low. So what motivation steps or tactics would you recommend in order for morale to go in a positive direction?
Show up every day with a positive mindset, be open and honest with them, sometimes telling them the hard truth on how things are really going within the county, setting manageable expectations, and holding fast to that. You can't be wishy-washy as a county administrator. You have to be able to be solid in your decisions and stick with that going forward.
I love hearing that. It is that consistency that brings a solid foundation for the employees who are wondering, or maybe wondering day to day, what's going to happen to them. And I also love your values of being open and listening and honest. And that's why you were so successful.
Well, I think the truth doesn't change. So if you just stick with the truth, you'll be better off. And I think the organization will as well. Whether it's something that people want to hear or not, it's still going to be the truth today as it will be tomorrow.
So do you remember the first big challenge? Do you remember the first one, the first big challenge you had?
My first board meeting, reading the updates to the agenda was probably my first big challenge. Well, I should take that back, because as you know, when it happened in the afternoon of the 7th of February, my very next meeting was the Council of Government. So sitting at the head of the table, not having an idea whatsoever what was bound to happen. But second to that would be reading those updates to the agenda. And as you know, they're rather long.
Yeah.
So Lee, I remember when you received your promotion to CVS, and there's some other things that took place. That's when, myself and Misty were county commissioners then, and we had a brief conversation outside, and we kind of looked at each other as like, hey man, just hold on. And one of the things that you looked me in my eyes and said is that all I got is who I am, and I'm going to be who I am. And I kind of related that to me and some things that I learned in the military. Can you kind of just help me understand how your focus, from one promotion to another transition, so you can continue to be who you are, but be an impact?
I'm humble at this stage of my life. That's the only thing that I can truly hold on to, that and my integrity. As I said earlier, as I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. And as a young teenager, as a mid-20s U.S. Marine, who they are the best of the best, you had a tendency, you have a tendency to be a little cocky, and you did some things that you look back on like, man, I can't believe I got away with that. But honestly, at this stage in my life, just being humble and being honest, to me, being able to look myself in the mirror every morning, knowing that I'm stepping out on my faith, I'm stepping out on knowing that what I'm doing is the best for not only myself, the community, and the organization that I may be tied to. Those of who know me, I speak to it all the time, that I came from a community that didn't always have a level playing field. So regardless of the role that I had in Manatee County government, I want to ensure that anyone that spoke to me or engaged with me, they had the same shot of getting the same level of service as anyone in Palmetto, Lakewood Ranch, or otherwise.
Man, amen to that. Everybody should say to themselves in the morning as they look in the mirror, what do my kids think about what I'm doing? What are my grandkids thinking about what I'm doing and the people I'm responsible for? And be humble and do the right thing consistently. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, we know that you have a lot that you're looking forward to, and And we want to, first of all, I think we want to all thank you for the service again that you provided to Manatee County in a difficult time, stepping forward, as you mentioned, leading a strong group of people, 2,000 plus, through whatever will come. As you mentioned, you never know every day when you wake up, but we know that there were probably some other things that you had on your mind to accomplish, and we know now that you are on the outside of county government that you have some plans of your own. Would you mind sharing those with us about what you're up to now? What's your future look like?
Most definitely. So I have two roles still. I'm still the state president for the County Veteran Service Officer Association, which I'll be turning over to my senior VP here in October. I've had that role since 2018. And the other role is something that's near and dear to my heart, is a food truck. I'm the owner of Pee Wee's Canteen and Catering, which is named after my mom. That was her nickname when she was a short order cook as growing up as a single mom. So it's my tribute to her to be able to open this while she's still with us, so she can actually see her son succeed yet again in this path of food truck ownership.
I bet she's very excited and very proud.
I think so. I am a favorite,
Homage to your mother. That's beautiful. And don't we all learn how to cook from our moms, right? So
Yeah.
I can't wait to visit your truck.
What's your specialty?
It'll be rooted mostly in soul food, but there are some items on there for the downtown lunch crowd, sandwiches, soups, some small sandwiches and things like that. But Fridays will be mainly seafood and Saturday will be strictly soul food.
Do you have a target launch date and location just yet, so we can make sure that our listeners are aware?
I am pushing for late October, early November, dealing with the state and some other regulatory bodies. As you know, getting things done can be a little slow. But also my makeup is making sure that whenever I step out, I'm looking the best that I can. So I want to make sure that I have as many things in place to ensure that I don't have too many hurdles to overcome when I open those doors. But late October, early November, I'm looking at finding my location down by Manatee Players, between the Players and the property appraiser's office.
Well, that's great. I know not only our viewers, but all of the county employees that served under your leadership are happy to see you here today and happy to hear what your future holds. And they'll be finding you at those locations that you're at. So we want to thank you so much for being here and helping us understand what some of the challenging things around being the county administrator are, and also looking to the future. We know there'll be a new administrator coming up here, and we hope that you'll join us again to talk more in depth in the future about different challenges that arise in those roles, because we know we have a lot of expertise here. And just thanks again for everything. We want to let our viewers know that we want to thank them for watching today with Lee Washington, and appreciate him. And to your mom, thank you for bringing up a wonderful young man and being there to be able to spend some time here in these next few years doing something that you both love. So remember, everyone, today we're closing out this edition of the Big Picture Manatee. You can watch us on YouTube channel at the Big Picture Manatee. You can subscribe and you can like us there. Also, you can find us on Facebook at the Big Picture Manatee and on our webpage, thebigpicturemanatee.com. We got something in common with all of those, right? And we thank you so much. And we hope that your start into the new business is successful, and we will be seeing you at your location.
Indeed. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee.
Sir.